Aaron, and welcome to the Aviation Avenue podcast.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, man. So how you doing today?
I'm good. It's cold in this hangar, and I'm sorry if it's a little echoey in here.
It's all good. No worries. It's rainy where I'm at right now.
Same here.
So how did you get into aviation?
Well, it's really the only thing I ever wanted to do. Ever since I was a kid, it's the only thing I focused on. It's kind of what I worked toward, my whole young adult life. I was in the Army first. When I got out of high school, I was in the Army as an enlisted paratrooper, so I didn't fly. I started flying when I got out of the Army. So I went from jumping out of aircraft to learning how to fly them straight away. So right when I got out, I was still pretty young. I was about 22. Moved to Los Angeles and went right to flight school and just continued on through. And I've been doing that full time ever since, my whole adult life.
That's awesome, man. So yeah, it's great. I actually sorry. I'm so sorry. Taken flying lessons before out at Chino Airport in Chino, California.
Yeah, that's a very well-known place. You got two really good air museums out there.
Yep. Unfortunately, they haven't had their air show since 2015 or 2019.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I was talking to Steve Hinton, who runs the Planes of Fame Museum out there, about bringing the helicopter to that show, but then it didn't happen. So hopefully it will happen, and I really hope I'll be able to fly there someday.
Yeah, I would love it. I would look forward to it. And then I saw you at Miramar and Huntington Beach. You did an incredible job.
Oh, thank you. Those are both really fun shows. They're both big, obviously. The Huntington Beach is one of the biggest venues that we fly at. I think they estimated they had 1.7 million spectators, so that's a huge show. And then Miramar, of course, is more military focused, which makes it super cool, too. They're both great shows.
Yeah. And then where was Kirby during the Pacific Air Show? Because I didn't see Kirby perform.
He performed at that show. Yeah, he was right after I went, then he flew.
Oh, this year?
Yeah. Yeah, wasn't he flying it this year? I think he was.
I don't know. I didn't see him.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, well, he was there the year before. I know that. That's funny. They all kind of blur together for me. So I'm not 100% sure if he was there, but I think he was.
Yeah. So, and then do you remember your first air show? If so, what was it like?
I do. Ironically, my first show was actually a pretty big show. It was Luke Air Force Base. That was in 2018 was my first season as a performer, and I started off the season with a fairly big show, several 100,000 people. So kind of nerve-wracking, but good to start on a big one because then you're right out of the box flying in front of big crowds. So it was fun. It was a lot of build-up to it. You know, we trained and kind of retooled the program for 2 full years. I took over in January of 2016 and didn't fly a show until like May or so of 2018. So the first thing we did is tore the helicopters down, kind of rebuilt them, zeroed them all out, and refreshed them, repainted them, everything else. And then while we were doing that, there was the training evolution as well. So it took a little while to start flying shows, but that was my first one, 2018.
Nice. And my first air show was 2009 when I was 1 year old at Miramar.
Wow. So you have a long history at that show.
I do. So I've been coming for a long time. Because I can't really travel that much, but I really want to go to Nellis. I really want to go to like Jones Beach and things like that. Those are the good stuff.
I've flown the Jones Beach show once. That's another really big one like Huntington. But Nellis I haven't flown. So this coming year, 2024, will be the first year that I fly Nellis. We've already kind of made a verbal agreement to do that. So that's on the planning for 2024.
Nice. And then you know where Gillespie Field is?
I do. I certainly do. I've been there many times.
El Cajon?
Yes.
They used to have an air show, but it stopped because of a budget, and then the museum there kind of stopped running its production.
And that'd be a good place. I'd love to go to a show there. That'd be fun. I like that area. I'm not too far away. I'm based in Los Angeles, so that's an easy one for me.
Yeah, and it's really, it stopped in 2015, and I tried to contact the city of El Cajon via like their site and say, hey, can you bring back the show? Because it would be great for everybody.
I agree. That'd be a great place for a show.
Yeah. And then next question is, what is the most complicated thing about flying the BO-105?
Well, it's a fairly simple helicopter. You can see it there behind me. It's pretty small. It's one of the smallest twin-engine helicopters that was ever built. So it doesn't have a lot of systems in terms of stability augmentation, night vision, things like that. We don't even have a heater or an air conditioner in ours. So there's nothing really complicated about the machine itself. It does have good redundancy. It's got twin engines, twin electrical systems, twin hydraulic systems. So it was built with survivability in mind. It was originally designed as an Army helicopter for the German Army. So it's made to go fight wars with, and it was meant to be, simple and robust and over-engineered and really a tough little helicopter. And it is. It's a great little machine that I like it more every time I fly it.
Nice, man. Yeah, you did great job flying it too. I know I said that a lot, but it's really great.
Thank you. I'm a lucky guy to be able to be the guy that flies it. I really enjoy it. I'm honored that they picked me. I'm proud to be part of the team, and it's just a great opportunity, and I never lose sight of it, even for 1 minute, how much I appreciate this opportunity, and I try to make the most of it.
Yeah, that's great. And then have you flown other helicopters? If so, how do they compare to the BO-105?
I've flown quite a few different models of helicopters. The bulk of my time is in the AS-350, or what they now call the H-125. They call it the Squirrel in most of the world, and they call it the A-Star in the United States. I've got about 5,500 hours or so in that one. That one's a great helicopter, as an all-around kind of light utility helicopter. It flies really smoothly. It's great for flying camera work, which I do a lot of, working for film and television industry and stuff like that. It's just that one's built for comfort and smoothness, whereas the BO-105 is built for performance and maneuverability. So it's got a little bit of a rougher ride. It's a little bit louder inside. It flies more like a 500. I have some time in 500s too. I've done some utility work in those, and I really like the 500. I've kind of bounced around to different airframes over my career. It's been a number of years, so I've gotten an opportunity to fly a lot of different helicopters. I don't really have a favorite, but if I had to pick one right now, I'd probably pick the BO-105 because I enjoy aerobatics so much.
That's great. Yeah, and I would probably pick that too, the BO-105. It's cool just because of all the echoing of the smoke and things like that.
Yeah, the smoke is cool. I wish we had a better smoke system. It's kind of the holy grail that we're working toward, trying to figure out the best way to pump out more smoke. But it does definitely make the maneuvers look a lot cooler. It makes the show look nicer at air shows. So I kind of like it too. I like when I go over forward and go into my own smoke, and then you're kind of like enveloped in red smoke as you tumble forward. It's cool.
Yeah, it is, and that's on it. That's good. And then Gator A10. Hello, Gator.
Hey, Gator. Gator has flown this helicopter, the one behind me. He did a great job. He's a really, really good pilot, which is a surprise to no one.
Yeah, nice. And I interviewed him back in June.
Mm-hmm.
And then who else was I thinking of? And then there were a couple of questions in here, but I don't know how to get them in.
I saw one of the questions was from our friend Hillary Coe, and her question was, what's the process for coming up with new maneuvers when we decide we want to try something new? So one example of that would be the roll exit, where Luke Akins, one of our skydivers, stands on the skid of the helicopter, and then as I pitch up to roll, he jumps off. So he flies laterally away from the helicopter as I roll away from him. So it's a really cool stunt, but the stakes are pretty high on that one. So the answer is, how do we come up with this? And it's driven by creativity. So we come up with an idea first, decide what we want to do, and then we kind of work out the technical side, how to do it. And the technical side is more about working our way into the stunt. So we start very conservatively. He'll jump, and then I roll, and then we'll get closer and bring it tighter and tighter and tighter until the end result is what you see in an air show. So it's a process.
Yeah, it is, and that's great too, because a lot of it, and then is just great to watch, and it's very cool. How do you shut the door? I've been meaning to ask that.
You mean when the skydivers get out?
Yeah, like they get out.
Yeah, so they get out, and if you look behind me, I'll step out of the way. There's a little step on the skid there, and they'll step on that and then step down onto the skid, and then they're just standing there talking like you and I are talking, because when you're in close to the helicopter, there's no rotor wash, and it's not that loud. We can talk to each other and stuff. So they'll get out, stand on the skids, and the last thing they do before they jump is they shut all the doors, and then they go.
Nice. That's very great.
Good manners, eh? They're professionals, those Red Bull skydivers.
Yes, sir. And then next question is wait, number five. Oh yeah, number five. Do you have family that served in the military?
Yeah, as it happens, almost every male member of my family has served in the military. My brother, my dad, all my uncles, my grandpa, pretty much everybody. We all have, varied types of service. I would say the majority of us were Army, but there's also some of my relatives were Navy, and some cousin of mine was Air Force. So pretty well represented across the services.
Nice. And I thank them all for their service and sacrifice.
It was my pleasure in my case. I like to thank you, the taxpayer, for all that ammo and fuel that we got. So it was fun, and it was my pleasure to serve.
Yeah. And then my dad served in the Marine Corps and actually met President Bill Clinton.
Wow, very impressive.
I'll show you a picture later. I can't really see it right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then my grandpa served in the United States Army.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long as an infantry soldier.
Wow, he was at the tip of the spear there. So the way the Army is structured is that everything in the Army is in support of the infantry. They're the point of the spear, and then everything else is behind, supporting in whatever way, whether it's aviation, artillery, engineering, whatever. They're all there to support the infantry.
Yeah, that's good too. Backup, and that's good support. And then a lot of things that I really hope, because I hope to join the Coast Guard maybe.
They have a very interesting mission set too. They do some cool stuff.
Yeah. And then what else was I gonna mention? It'll come back to me probably. Now, what is the best aviation advice you have ever received?
I've gotten a lot of really good advice from a lot of people that I really look up to over the years. But if you boiled it all down, if you're talking about building a career in aviation, I always say just work harder and be nicer than the next person. So work harder meaning get in there and know your aircraft, know the regs, know how to figure out the weather, know everything you need to know that has anything to do with your mission. Be completely immersed and engaged in it, and then just have a good attitude. Just be easy to work with. Be a nice person, because that reputation, you being easy to get along with, and you being a hard worker and all that gets ahead of you. And people generally know who you are and know all about you before you even arrive. Your reputation arrives before you do, they say. So you want to work hard to make sure you have a good reputation. And honestly, the work is much more enjoyable if you come at it with a positive attitude and a good outlook. If you're eager to get to work, eager to fly, eager to do all the ancillary work you have to do around the aircraft besides flying, then you're going to enjoy it more. You're going to have a more fulfilling career.
Yeah, that's true. And then always my last interviewer, Chuck Coleman, will say, keep your ego in check.
Ooh, that's good advice. He's the master of it. That guy is a really, really good pilot, and he never toots his own horn. He's just a humble, hardworking guy with a really, really impressive resume. Just a great dude. I really like him.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then a lot of things I follow. Sean Tucker, Living with Passion, and then Michael Goulian, always.
Oh my goodness, those are two big dogs in our world. Those guys, those two in particular, were really, really helpful to me when I first started flying air shows. I'd been in aviation for a very long time, but I was new to the air show world. And both Sean Tucker and Mike Goulian went out of their way from the very beginning to, help me, mentor me, and just be good guys and good friends and set a good example. Those are two guys that I look up to a lot.
Yeah, me too. I don't know why, but Sean Tucker hasn't posted on Instagram in a while. Do you wonder why?
I hope it's because he's fishing or something. He's retired, so I hope he's out enjoying his life. I don't know why he's not on Instagram, to be honest with you, but I'm sure he's doing something fulfilling and making a positive impact somewhere, because that's what he's done since I've known him.
Yeah, it's great too. Yeah, and his plane is up in Smithsonian. I want to go see that one day.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen pictures. It looks cool. They've got it mounted inverted there over the entryway.
Yeah, it's great too. And then what is the best advice you can give to the next generation of future aviators?
Well, it would go back to what we were talking about earlier. Like Chuck Coleman said, keep your ego in check, have a good attitude, be easy to work with, and really immerse yourself in the mission, whatever it is you're doing, whether you're flying helicopters or fighter jets or transports, really, really make it the hardest job you've ever had and dig into it and learn your aircraft and really just challenge yourself every day and try to get better, and then it'll get easier and you'll excel. The more you work, the more effort you put into it, the more fulfilling it is and the more rewarding it is. And you'll see you advance kind of through the systems and through the different levels of success by doing that, by applying yourself 100% fully. And it just feels better too. You
Yeah,
don't want to put a half effort into anything. You want to go full speed.
yeah, great. And then Sarah Lawrence, 2833 says, advice always helps for aviation passion and a future pilot right here. That is correct, Sarah. Thank you very much.
That is exactly right, Sarah. Stay in the fight.
Yeah. And then where can viewers go to find more about your performances?
If you look at my Instagram page, I think about 2 or 3 posts ago, the whole schedule is up for the season. And then you can go to the Red Bull Air Force website and see what the skydivers are up to, what Kirby Chambliss and Kevin Coleman are up to. Our larger team, we travel around the country together, and we perform sometimes all together and sometimes individually, but we do a combined show with aerobatic airplanes and helicopters and skydivers and everything, and it's all on the website. You just look for Red Bull Air Force. That's us.
Yep. And then I can't wait to see you at Miramar and the Pacific Airshow this year.
Oh, thank you. I'm looking forward to both of those shows. It's going to be great. We're doing Magoo as well. We're starting our season at Point Magoo, which will be really fun. That's only in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
March 16th, 17th, something like that. So that one's coming up. So it's exciting for me to have 3 Southern California shows.
Yeah, that is true. And then I actually announce actually my voice is pretty loud. Like my parents say, like you gotta stop like screaming and at night because it echoes.
Yeah, I've been told my voice isn't quiet either. It's really echoey in this hangar, so I'm getting the full effect.
Yeah. And then somebody named Adam Spooky requested to join. Is that okay with you?
Sure, yeah, whoever.
All right, stand by. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. I talked to Master Sergeant. Fix it with him. Hey, Adam.
Oh, he's gone.
Yep. It's all right though. Yeah. So I actually, my voice is very like I kind of asked the city when I contacted them to say, can you consider me for an announcer, but not by myself because I can't announce everything alone.
Yeah, there's some guys and girls, professional announcers that travel around to all the different shows, and a lot of them are really good, and they've got a lot of experience. Maybe you could get together with one of those people and develop your career and maybe pursue that.
Yeah, you're right on that.
Yeah.
And that's true. And then a question from Sarah Lawrence, 2833. What is one maneuver you love to do in the helicopter? Or
My favorite maneuver is called the bow turn. So it has that name because this is the helicopter behind me is a BO-105. And in Germany and Austria, the German-speaking pilots who fly this, they call it a bow for short. So we call it a BO, they call it a bow. So anyway, this turn is named after the helicopter itself, so it's called the bow turn. Can you guys see my little toy here?
Yeah.
So what it is it's a turning maneuver, which means that when you finish the maneuver, you come out on the 180-degree heading in the opposite direction. So the way it works is you come to the end of the show line, pitch up to about 60, 70 degrees, and then you're looking for a certain airspeed and altitude. And when those two values are captured, then I briskly push the helicopter forward into the inverted position. And then as it falls, I do a 180-degree turn on the yaw axis. So, and while I'm inverted descending, and then when I capture that heading, then I pitch another 180 degrees and go back out the way I came on the opposite heading. And that's my favorite maneuver because it's kind of complicated and it's fun to do. It's hard to get it perfect. So it's always a challenge, and I enjoy it. It's a unique maneuver that pretty much only that helicopter can do well. So that's my favorite maneuver, and that's why I like doing it.
Yeah, that's a great one too. I got some shots of that, I believe, on my camera.
Yeah, it looks cool with the smoke too, because like I was saying earlier, when you go over forward, you enter into your own kind of smoke trail, and it's cool. The smoke gets all muddled up around in the rotor wash and everything, and it makes it look more dramatic.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna try to hold on for a minute. I'm gonna see if anybody commented is in here. Sorry for my computer in the way.
That's okay. I can answer one of the questions that somebody typed while you're doing that. Somebody asked where I got my Blackhawk time, the UH-60. And the answer is, well, as I said in the beginning, when I was in the Army, I was enlisted, so I was a paratrooper and I didn't fly. But I've recently, in the last 4 or 5 years, started flying Blackhawks for a company that does firefighting under contract with the Forest Service. So I ended up getting type rated in the Blackhawk, and now I fly it part-time fighting fire when I'm not doing air shows.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. And then Gator, Gator A-10, Attack Man. If you could fly any jet, why would it be the A-10?
He's exactly correct. That's the only one I would fly. I love the A-10 because, you know, a former ground pounder, anybody that you know had to go to war on the ground, loves the A-10. All foot soldiers, Army, Marines, anybody who's on the ground in the dirt, they love the A-10, and so do I. So appreciate you, Gator, and all the whole A-10 community. Attack.
Yep, Attack. Actually, I don't want to pull my account up because I don't know if it'll end this. So I guess I can, because I put a story on, but nobody really typed in the question box.
You can. The 2 questions that I saw on my feed, I answered already. So box is checked there.
And then a question from Aaron, AROW 98 says, "How did you begin your career, Aaron?"
I started out in flight school. When I got out of the Army, I went to flight school in Long Beach, California. And the first job that I took when I got out of flight school, when I finished all my ratings, was flying in a news helicopter. And I split my time because I was a super low time pilot. I was brand new. I came in as a camera operator. So I started flying the helicopter on some days and operating the camera on others. So I was able to build time and kind of learn a whole new skill set too. So that camera work early on kind of gave way into the production flying that I do now. I learned a lot about cameras and how you can how cameras and helicopters interface in a creative way.
Yeah, that's great. And then that's a good career. My dad actually here, I'll talk about it in a minute. Gator says, "You're the man, Aaron. Hope to see you soon, Attack."
Yeah. We got to fly together in Pasco, Washington after a show. It was really fun. So yeah, he's a good dude. See you around, Gator.
Nice. Yeah, as I was saying, my dad actually was in a police helicopter program for Anaheim PD for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
But they actually got rid of him for some reason. I don't really know why.
Yeah, I don't know. I knew a guy who flew for the Anaheim PD, but I don't think he's there anymore. They might have known each other. I don't know.
What, do you know his name?
I do, but I can't remember. It's been a while. That was a few years back.
Yeah. So does anybody else have questions? Because we're going to probably do something else in a minute. Okay, so Aaron, how did ARO 98 says, "How did Rebel scout you?"
Well, because they had known me already, I had a lot of the work I do in helicopters is film and television work, you know, doing movies and TV shows, commercials, stuff like that. And in that capacity, I have a little production company, a little aerial production company. And in that capacity, I had worked for Red Bull, doing various things, filming some of the events like their air race and just various projects. So I was kind of a helicopter vendor to Red Bull. And then in 2015, when they needed a new aerobatic helicopter pilot, I was kind of already a known entity to them. So then the interview process was a little interesting though. They talked to just about everybody that I knew before they talked to me. So I think they had pretty much decided that they wanted to offer me the job before they actually called me up. So I was not part of the interview process. That all happened before they talked to me. But I was very honored to get the call, and of course I said yes.
Interesting, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I still do the camera work and stuff for Red Bull when they need to film something from the air, whether we're shooting air to air, shooting a big stunt, you know, anything they do, if they need aerials or any kind of helicopter support. My little company still does work in that capacity for them.
Nice. And then Anthony Oshanuga's in here, so shout out
Ah,
to him.
hey, Anthony, I know him.
Yeah, he's a great man. I saw him at Miramar in 2017. He did great in the
Yep,
Black Hawk.
yep. Very nice guy.
I've been needing to get his pits in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm just need some more some more money.
Oh, yeah. That's the same in all aviation pursuits. You got to start with some money.
Yeah, because what I think it's $14.99, or did it get reduced? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't play I don't do the simulator stuff, so I don't know.
No. And then somebody else, and then said question, where was it? Will you ever fly at air shows with Kevin Coleman? No.
With Kevin Coleman, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, that's the plan. Well, I've flown a couple shows with him already, but we're going to fly Barksdale together and Pensacola as well. And I think there's a few more in there that we're going to fly together. But yeah, absolutely 100% I'll be flying with Kevin Coleman.
Nice, man. That's awesome. And then, so what else am I going to talk about? Okay.
We'll
I
ask you
really...
a question. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Wait, what were you
I was
going to ask me?
going to ask you if you started your flight training yet. Have you done any flying?
I did in August of last year. It was a little summer camp called
Oh, cool.
Dubai Aviation. But money's been tight, and I'm trying to pick a date right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the challenge with flight training. Time and money, those are the two limiting factors.
Yeah, they are.
How old are you?
14.
14. So you're way ahead of the game. You got time. That's good. I have a 16 and an 18-year-old son. Both of those two are flying. Liam, the 16-year-old, just took his private written on Saturday and passed that. So big milestone for him.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then the air show that I really want to go to is the Gold Coast in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Pacific Gold
Yeah,
Coast.
that sounds fun. Those guys put on a really good show. Obviously, I've never been to the one in Australia, but they're the ones who produced the Huntington Beach show, and they're all really nice guys. They do a great job. It would be really fun to go to that show.
Yeah.
It's not in the cards for us this year, but maybe in the future. So I agree with you. I would like to go to that show too.
Yeah. And then, does anybody else have any questions for Aaron? Going once. When did you acquire the name Nick Steamy or nickname Steamy?
That's actually not my nickname. There's only one person who calls me that, and it's my friend Lisa. Her husband is a pilot I used to fly with a long time ago. His name's Jonathan Gunn. He's a really, really good helicopter pilot. But as it happens, all the women all talk about how good looking he is. So we named him Dreamy, and that was his call sign. And so his wife started calling me Steamy because it rhymes with dreamy, I guess. But that's just her making fun of me. Nobody else calls me that.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. So, and anybody else doesn't have any, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much, Aaron, for coming on.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. It was an honor. I really enjoyed speaking with you, and I hope it all goes well for you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and maybe I'll post this on YouTube maybe today or tomorrow.
Cool. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Bye, Aaron. Thank you, sir.